Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Welcome back. Previously, we have solved some circuit or network problems using Laplace transform like this or this, etc. Now, it becomes very difficult when the circuit is quite big, consisting of many elements, many RLC and switches, and particularly if the initial voltages or initial currents, if they are non-zero. Today we shall see how we can simplify those situations to some extent. So we will study how to use Laplace transform to solve linear RLC circuits with non-zero initial conditions. And this topic you can call S-domain circuits or networks. Okay, so to begin with, think of any complicated circuit as complicated as you can. For example, like this or even more complicated, where you have R, L or C, many of them. Then you have switches, and the switches can be opened or closed at different times, and we have to find the voltage and current across or in different branches after a switch is closed or opened. Now, without loss of generality, we will assume that this switching on or off takes place at time t equal to 0, or whenever this switching takes place, we will call that moment t equal to 0 without loss of generality. And therefore, we will have initial conditions, that means voltages and currents, given at the moment just before the switching occurred, that means at time 0 minus. And our task is to find voltages and currents across different branches for time greater than and equal to 0. So for example, I can say that this switch is closed at time t equal to 0, and you have to find, say, this current, call it I1t, for time greater than equal to 0. Or say in this circuit, I can say that this switch is opened at time t equal to 0, and we want to find, say, this voltage across this capacitor. You can call it VC, VCT, for time greater than equal to 0. Now, how can one solve such transient circuit problems in a normal way? So, to solve a circuit problem, one need to use the laws of electrical circuits, laws of physics, which are essentially this. Number one, we have Kirchhoff's voltage law, KVL, which says that voltage in a closed loop, sum of all the voltages in a closed loop like this or this loop or this outer loop, those voltages are 0. That is one rule. Then rule number 2, KCL, which says that the sum of currents entering or leaving one node, one junction, the sum of all those currents should be equal to 0. That is Kirchhoff's current law. And thirdly, we have a relation between voltage across a branch and current through the branch and current through that branch. For example, if you consider this branch, this resistance, then we know the voltage across this resistance is given by 5 multiplied with the current, that is Ohm's law. Similarly, if you consider an inductor, then voltage across it is given by L didt. Or for a capacitor, the current is given by C dV dt. These rules we know. Okay, so these are the relation between voltages across a branch. Branch means a resistance or inductor or a capacitor, and the current through it. Now these are the all rules that one can use to solve a circuit problem. That is enough to solve any RLC circuit. Now these voltages and currents in a circuit are all functions of time in general. Now you can write these relations KCL, KVL or this branch relation among different voltages and currents in a circuit, which are all functions of time. Now from these relations you can write possibly a number of differential equations which you can then solve to get these voltages and currents as a functions of time. However, our approach will be different. Instead of dealing with these voltages and currents as functions of time, we will deal with their Laplace transform. And we will first find the Laplace transform of voltages and currents across different branches, and then you can take Laplace inverse to get voltages and currents as functions of time. Let us see that. For example, if I call this current as I1, then this current as I2t, this current as I3t, they are all functions of time. So we can also take Laplace transform of these functions of time, and suppose these Laplace transforms are capital I1s, then the Laplace transform of small I2t is capital I2s, and Laplace transform of this function is capital I3s. Okay. Now at this node you may write a Kirchhoff's current law, and you may write that this current I3 is equal to I1 plus I2. I3t is equal to I1t plus I2t. This is true. Now if we take Laplace transform of both the sides in this equation, then we can write from this capital I3s is equal to capital I1s plus capital I2s. Okay, so this is the relation between the Laplace transform of these three currents. We will call this Kirchhoff's current law in S domain, Laplace domain. It looks exactly similar to normal Kirchhoff's current law. In the same way, let us consider Kirchhoff's voltage law in some loop, say this loop, in this circuit, outer loop. Suppose I call this voltage as ET, which could be function of time in general. ET is from here to here, with the reference polarity as plus upside minus downside. Then say the voltage across this resistance, I will call it V1T, from here to here, with the reference polarity like this, plus and minus, and this voltage is VCT with chosen reference polarity as this, plus and minus. Then you can write Kirchhoff's voltage law in this outer loop as ET equal to, this voltage equal to V1 plus VC, V1T plus VCT. Now, instead of writing this equation among some functions of time, we will write an equation among their Laplace transform. Suppose the Laplace transform of this voltage is capital V1s. Laplace transform of this voltage is, let me use small letter here. Okay, here also small letter. Then Laplace transform is capital ES. And this voltage, let me write here, the Laplace transform of this voltage is capital VCS. Then from this equation, by taking Laplace transform of both the sides, we can write capital ES is equal to capital V1S plus capital VCS. This looks exactly similar to the Kirchhoff's voltage law in time domain. So this equation we will call Kirchhoff's voltage law in S domain or Laplace domain. So you can write Kirchhoff's voltage law, current law, using the Laplace transform of different voltages or currents in a way exactly similar to what you would have done using time domain voltages or currents. Exactly similar. But there is a very, very important thing to know, understand and remember. That is, we will solve our circuit after some switching has taken place at time t equal to 0. Some switch is closed or opened at time t equal to 0, and we will find voltages and currents after that switching. That means starting from t equal to 0 and onward, including t equal to 0. Okay? Therefore, all this Laplace transform that we will use will be unilateral Laplace transform or one-sided Laplace transform. That means I3S is unilateral Laplace transform of small I3t. That will not consider the value of this current before time 0. So remember, all Laplace transforms are unilateral in our discussion. Okay? So all Laplace transforms used in the subsequent discussion will be unilateral in nature. Now, we have seen that the KVL and KCL equations in terms of Laplace transform of voltages and currents look exactly similar to the KVL and KCL in time domain. Now we shall see how to write the relation between the voltage and current across a branch, that means across an R, L or C, using Laplace transform. Okay, great. So first we shall see relation between voltage and current for a resistance R. So suppose we have a resistance with value R. Let the current through it be IRT and the voltage across it is VRT. Be careful about the reference direction and polarity of current and voltage. I am taking current from left to right and voltage with left side positive, right side negative. Then according to Ohm's law, we can write VRT is equal to R multiplied with IRT. Now if you take Laplace transform of both the sides, unilateral Laplace transform, then that is L VRT UT is equal to R Laplace transform of IRT UT. That means if we call this unilateral Laplace transform as capital VRS, then that will be equal to R capital IRS, where IRS is the unilateral Laplace transform of IRT. So you observe that the relation between the Laplace transform of voltage and current for a resistance looks exactly similar to the relation in the time domain. So it looks exactly similar to normal Ohm's law. Okay, that's great. Next, relation between the voltage and current for an inductor L. Okay, suppose you have an inductor with value L and the current through it is ILT from left to right and the voltage across it is VLT with left side positive, right side negative. Then we know that VLT is equal to L DIL dt. Okay, now you can take unilateral Laplace transform. VLT UT is equal to L constant, then unilateral Laplace transform of DIL dt UT. Left side I will denote as capital VLS. Right side we have this constant L and Laplace transform, unilateral Laplace transform of dIL dt will be S, capital IL S minus small I 0 minus, where capital IL S is the unilateral Laplace transform of ILT ut. So this is the relation between the voltage Laplace transform, unilateral Laplace transform of voltage and unilateral Laplace transform of current across an inductor. Now, when I0 minus is equal to 0, that means initial current through this inductor is 0, then we have VLS is equal to LS multiplied with ILS. This equation looks nicer than this. This is not nicer because of the presence of this extra term, and the presence of this extra term will be inconvenient for solving circuit problems, as we shall see soon. However, when this term is not present, then see that voltage and current, they are proportional to each other, and as if this looks like a Ohm's law, voltage is equal to current multiplied by some impedance. So this equation is much more convenient to deal with. So this equation is more easy for use. However, this is true only if the initial current through the inductor is 0. So this is applicable to uncharged inductors only. I mean initially uncharged. And uncharged means, I mean that the current is 0 initially. Okay, so therefore in solving circuit problems, we will use a small but convenient trick, which is like this. Suppose the initial current through this inductor, that is IL0 minus, is equal to I0, some constant number. Then what is the relation between IL and VL? Okay, we can write VL is equal to L di dt. Another way you can write IL, the current, is equal to 1 over L integration of VL, integration of VL t dt, say starting from 0 to time t, plus a integration constant which will be nothing but the value of this current just before time 0. So this current is same as the current at 0 minus plus integration of the voltage from time 0 to t. Okay, this you may also write as 1 by L integration VL maybe tau d tau from 0 to t plus this constant, okay, I0. So this is the relation between the current and voltage across this inductor. Now let us consider another circuit where we have again an inductor with same value as this one. So if this is L, this is also L, but this one has a current source connected in parallel like this, and the value of this current source is I0, which is same as the value of the initial current in this inductor. Okay. However, if I call this current through the inductor as I1t, in this circuit I10 minus is equal to 0. That means this inductor was initially charged, but this inductor is initially uncharged. Okay, that is one difference. Another difference, this circuit has a current source in parallel, this does not. Okay, now I will call this current as ILT, which is also same as this current ILT. And this voltage from here to here as VLT, plus this side minus this side. Okay. Now what is the relation between IL and VL? Note that IL in this circuit is not the current through the inductor, but this is the current, total current I1 plus this I0. Okay, this is the total current that I am calling IL. Now IL is equal to I1t plus this I0. Now this I1 I can write as 1 by L integration of the voltage across it, but the voltage across it is VL. So VLT, or maybe tau you can use, d tau, starting from 0 to t, plus the initial value of the current, which will be I10 minus. Okay, so this is equal to I1t, and then plus I0, this I0. Now you see that I10 minus is 0. So therefore this relation between IL and VL comes out to be exactly same as this relation between IL and VL. So relation between the current and voltage here and here is exactly similar, although my circuits are different. Okay, so here these are the two terminals of my circuit. This current, which is same as this current, is IL, and the voltage is from this terminal to this terminal. Here this current, total current is IL, and from one terminal to another terminal, this is the voltage VL. So between this terminal and this terminal, and here between this terminal and this terminal, I have different things, but from outside the behavior is same. So the relation between outside current and outside voltage here and the outside current and outside voltage here is same, but inside the component is different, components are different. But from outside I cannot distinguish what is there inside. So therefore these two circuits are equivalent. Okay, these two circuits are equivalent, but there is a benefit of using this circuit. Why? In this circuit, if you consider only in this part, only across the inductor is initially uncharged, and therefore we can write a relation between the voltage across the inductor and current across the inductor in this way. VLT is equal to L di1 dt. Now if I take Laplace transform, unilateral Laplace transform, so I will get, let me do a step jump, let me directly write VLS is equal to L constant multiplied with S I1S. Okay, so I1 is unilateral Laplace transform of I1 plus I1 0 minus. However, I1 0 minus is 0, so this part is gone, and we have VLS equal to LS multiplied with I1S. So while focusing only across this inductor, since this is initially uncharged, we have a nice relation between the voltage and current across it. Voltage and current, I mean the Laplace transform of voltage and current, they are proportional to each other, as if you can think this voltage in S domain is equal to the current in S domain multiplied by a impedance like in Ohm's law, and the impedance is LS. So for an initially uncharged inductor, this impedance, which is nothing but the ratio of voltage and current, is equal to LS. Okay, great. So these two branches are equivalent, and let us see the advantage of this equivalence with a small example. Consider this circuit. Okay, here we have a switch which is open, and this is closed at time t equal to 0. Our task is to find this inductor current I1t for time greater than equal to 0 after the switch is closed. Okay, so let us solve it. First of all, what was the value of the current through this inductor before the switch is closed? I1 0 minus, what is this? That is easy to find, and we will assume that this circuit was already in a steady stable state before the switch was closed. So when the switch was open, this part of the circuit was not there virtually, and this battery was driving a current through this inductor. So this battery is 20 volt, this resistance is 10 ohm. Inductors in steady state in DC circuit acts as short circuit, so this current before the switch was closed was equal to 20 volt by 10 ohm. 20 volt by 10 ohm equal to 2 ampere. before this switch is closed. Okay, now when this switch is closed, already there is some current here, but this battery will also drive extra current through this inductor, and therefore this current will increase, but it cannot increase rapidly, it will increase gradually. Okay, how to find the function I1t as a function of time after the switch is closed? Let me just copy this circuit once. So this is the same circuit, but you know this inductor has some initial current. To make our problem simpler, what we will do, we will replace this inductor with an initially uncharged inductor in parallel with a current source, like this. This current is I1 as before. This current, let me call it I4, and this current, the value of this current source, I will choose to be same as the initial current of this inductor. Okay, so that is 2 ampere downwards, because initially the current was flowing downwards. Okay, now I4, the initial value of I4, I4 0 minus is 0. Okay, so initially there is no current flowing through this inductor. However, a current is flowing through this source. Therefore, from outside, I mean from here, from outside you will see that okay, same value of I1 is flowing initially. It is not flowing through the inductor, but it is flowing through the source. So if I call this terminal as A, this as B, then here is my terminal A and this is terminal B, and from outside of AB you cannot see any change. However, in this case the inductor is initially charged. Here it is initially uncharged. Notice only this part is initially uncharged, but actually the current is flowing. From outside you will see the current is flowing, which is going through this source. Okay, next what we will do, we will redraw this circuit again, but now I will write Laplace transform of all voltages and currents, like capital I3S, here capital I2S, this will be capital I4S, okay, and so on. This is capital I1S, all unilateral Laplace transforms. Okay, and now I will write the relations among different voltages and currents, I mean among the Laplace transform of different voltages and currents, and then solve for these voltages and currents. Let me make it slightly cleaner. Now it looks little better. I have removed the switch because anyway it is closed after time 0 and we are interested after time 0 only. Okay, now instead of writing these currents and voltages as functions of time, in this circuit I will write the Laplace transform of these quantities. I1, capital I1 is, capital I2 is, I3 is, and I4 is. Okay, and also I will take Laplace transform of these quantities, these voltages and current, voltage and current source. So unilateral Laplace transform of 10 is 10 by S. Okay, I am not writing the unit now, everything is in SI unit to make my drawing cleaner. So here unilateral Laplace transform of 20 is 20 by S, and unilateral Laplace transform of 2 is 2 by S. Okay, and then we saw that for an uncharged inductor it behaves like having an impedance equal to L into S. So this 2 Henry I will replace with 2S, LS, L is 2. Okay, now I will solve this circuit, and now you can solve this circuit in many different ways. Maybe I can use nodal analysis here. Let me choose this as the reference point, 0 potential, and let me call this as node P, and voltage here is VPS, unknown of course. So VPS is the Laplace transform, unilateral Laplace transform of the unknown potential at this point, VPS. Then let me write KCL equation at this node, KCL at node P. I can write I3S equal to I1 plus I2S, and we already know that the relation between the Laplace transform of currents entering or leaving a node looks like this, exactly similar to normal KCL equation. This is I3. Now in place of I3, this I3S, I can write this potential minus this potential, that is 10 by S minus VPS, this minus this, divided by 5. Okay, because we have seen that for an resistance the relation between the Laplace transform of voltage and current looks exactly similar to the Ohm's law. Okay, so this is the I3S and this is equal to I1S. Now I1S is this 2 by S, this current plus this current. Okay, and how much is this current? This current will be this voltage across this inductor, VPS, divided by 2S. 2S is the impedance in Laplace domain of this inductor. That is what we have seen here. Okay, see this equation. For an uncharged inductor, the relation between the Laplace transform of the voltage and current is exactly like the Ohm's law, with Ls acting as the impedance. So this is I4 plus 2 by S is this. Together this is I1 plus I2. What can I write about I2? I2 is this current, that means this current. Now if this point is Vp, if this is Vp, then this point is Vp minus 20 by S. Vp minus 20 by S. This is this potential. Now this minus 0 divided by 10 is this current I2. Okay, so this is I2. Okay, great. This is VPS. Now we have to simplify this equation a bit. Let me gather all VPS terms together. VPS. So we have here minus 1 by 5. Then from here minus 1 by 2s. Okay, and then from here minus 1 by 10. This is equal to, let me write all other terms in the right side. So here we have minus 2 by S, this term, then here this was minus, then plus 2 by S, this one, then here 2 by S, right side minus 2 by S. Okay, so one of them can be cancelled. Okay, now VPS, this can be simplified as 10S below. Let me take this minus sign out. Okay, then we have 2S, then plus 5 plus S, so make it 3S plus 5 with a minus sign. This is equal to 2 by S minus goes away. This implies VPS is equal to 2, and okay, this S cancels, divided by 3S plus 5 multiplied with 10, 20. So this is VPS. Now we want I1, essentially that is our problem. Let me go back. We have to find I1. Okay, so I1 is equal to, from here I1 is it is here. Okay, 2 by S, 2 by S plus this Vp multiplied with 1 over 2S. 220 becomes 10. Now this I will try to write using partial fraction. So 2 by S as it is, and plus I will write something divided by 3S plus 5 plus something divided by S. The numerator should be 10. Now I mean, you can take A, B and then solve for AB, but this is an easy problem. So if you think a bit, so maybe I can take here 3, here minus 1, so 3s goes, and I will have minus 5 above, so I will multiply this with minus 2 to get 10. Okay, then this is equal to minus 6 by 3s plus 5, and here we have plus 2 by s, so plus 4 by s. Now we can take Laplace inverse I1t, that will be equal to, actually we will get I1t ut, because we are doing only unilateral Laplace transform. So that will be equal to Laplace inverse of this, which is 4 ut, then minus 6, let me divide by 3 this one, so let me make it 2, 1 and 5 by 3, right? So then I have minus 2 e to the power minus 5 by 3, e to the power minus 5 by 3t ut. That is the answer. Let me check my calculations. So I1 0 plus, that will be 4 minus 2, that is 2. So initial current is 2, and that is correct, because through an inductor current cannot change instantaneously, so it will be 2 ampere. Good. Then let me check I1 infinity, that will be 4 and this term will be 0. So let me check the circuit. So when this switch is closed for a long enough time, then at steady state this inductor will behave like a short circuit. Then this battery will drive 10 by 5 2 ampere current through this, and this battery will also drive 20 by 10, yes, 2 ampere current. So 2 ampere plus 2 ampere, 4 ampere. Good, that seems correct. Okay, so my answer seems correct. Now we shall see the relation between voltage, I mean the Laplace transform of voltage and Laplace transform of current for a capacitor C. Okay, suppose we have a capacitor. These are the two terminals. The value of the capacitor is C. The current through the capacitor is ICT, and the voltage across it is VCT, with left side positive, right side negative reference. Then we know that ICT is equal to C dVc dt. Okay, then from this we can take Laplace transform, unilateral Laplace transform, that is Laplace transform of I CT ut is equal to C Laplace transform of dVc dt ut. And if I denote this Laplace transform as capital ICS, that will be equal to C, and this will be equal to S multiplied with capital VCS minus VC0 minus, where VCS capital is equal to unilateral Laplace transform of small VCT ut. Once again, you observe that we have minus VC0 minus, and if VC0 minus is equal to 0, that means initially uncharged capacitor. Then this relation will look nicer. It will look like capital ICS is equal to CS capital VCS, or you may write in this way, capital VCS equal to 1 over CS capital ICS. This equation looks much cleaner and nicer than this one. This looks like Ohm's law, voltage equal to current multiplied some constant, where this constant 1 over CS acts as the impedance in Ohm's law. Okay, so this looks nicer and it's easier to use, but applicable only for uncharged capacitor. Uncharged capacitors only, initially uncharged. So, is it possible to find an equivalent circuit of this capacitor so that we can use this nice equation? So, let us see that. Okay, so this is the capacitor for which you can write ICT is equal to C dVc dt, or you may write VCT equal to 1 over C, bringing it this side, then integration of IC t, or call it IC tau d tau, integration of current starting from time 0 up to a desired time t, plus a constant of integration, okay, which will be nothing but the value of this voltage Vc at 0 minus. Why is this equation correct? You can check by putting t equal to 0 minus here. So left side will be Vc 0 minus. This integration will be 0 because you are integrating from 0 to 0 minus, that is 0. And right, so this term will survive. So left side, right side will be equal. This equation is correct. To be more precise, actually this integration is from 0 minus to t. Okay, I guess for the inductor also it is better to write 0 minus. That means including time 0. Here also 0 minus. Okay. Okay, so this is our capacitor. Now consider another circuit, another capacitor like this with same value as this C, but now we have a voltage source in series plus minus, whose value is same as the initial voltage of this capacitor, this. So this is Vc0 minus, and these are the two terminals. Now let the current here be ICT. This voltage from here to here, this is VCT, and this voltage say across the capacitor only is V1T. okay, with left side plus, right side minus. Here also left side plus, right side minus. Now this capacitor is initially charged. That means, say Vc0 minus is non-zero. Suppose this is equal to V0. Here this capacitor is initially uncharged. That means V1 t at time 0 minus is equal to 0. But we have this voltage source in series. Now from outside of this terminal or this terminal, you cannot distinguish between this initially charged capacitor and this combination. You will get same voltage, same current as here. Initially here the voltage is Vc0 minus. Initially this voltage is 0, but this is present. So together you will get same voltage. So from outside, this circuit and this circuit behaves in the same way. That is because in this circuit, if I want to get Vc, that is equal to V1 plus this source voltage, which is taken to be equal to Vc0 minus, and then V1 can be written as 1 by C integration of the this capacitor current IC tau d tau from time 0 minus to t plus initial value of V1, that is V1 0 minus. So this together is V1, and plus we have Vc0 minus, this term which is coming because of this source. Now V1 0 minus is 0. This is 0, okay, because this capacitor is initially uncharged. However, you see that this equation of Vc is still same as this equation of Vc. Here V1 is not present, but Vc0 minus is coming due to the source. Here Vc0 minus is coming due to the initial charge of the capacitor. However, finally in this circuit and this circuit, the expression of Vc is same. So the relation between Vc and IC is same in this circuit as well as in this circuit. Okay? However, here in this case I can write ICT is equal to C dV1 dt. Now taking unilateral Laplace transform, we can write ICS equal to C constant multiplied with S V1 S and minus V1 0 minus. However, this is equal to 0, so we have ICS equal to CS V1S. V1 is the voltage across this capacitor only, okay, not from here to here, only across this capacitor. And then across this capacitor, this nice relation is true. which looks like Ohm's law. Current is proportional to voltage. Okay, so that is the nice thing about this circuit. However, these two circuits are equivalent from outside. From outside you will see same voltage, same current as here. But the nice thing about this circuit is that when you concentrate only across the capacitor, a nice easy relationship exists. Now we shall see the beauty of this equivalent circuit with an example. So here is the example. We have this circuit, battery, resistance, capacitor. There was a switch which was initially closed, and then at time 0 it is opened. So the question is to find this capacitor voltage, call it VCT, to find VCT for time greater than equal to 0. Let this be the reference polarity, plus minus, like this. Okay, how to solve it? First of all, what is the value of this voltage before the switch is closed, switch is opened? So VC0 minus is how much? Okay, notice when the switch is closed, then in steady state, assuming that the switch is closed for a long enough time before it is opened, then in steady state, capacitors act like open circuit in DC circuits, so no current flows through the capacitor, and then this voltage 20 volt will drop across these two resistances in series. So 20 volt will drop equally across these equal resistances. So 10 volt here, 10 volt here. That means the capacitor voltage will also be 10 volt. So this is equal to 10 before the switch is opened. Now after the switch is opened, let me redraw this circuit. Okay, so let me make it clean by removing this branch, because after the switch is opened, this branch is ineffective. So this is for time greater than equal to 0. Okay, then it is very easy. Now I will write this current is suppose IT, this voltage is VCT. Instead of writing this in as a function of time, I will write the Laplace transform of these quantities. Like here I will write capital IS. Okay, that is nothing but Laplace transform of this current IT, unilateral, after time 0 and including time 0 of course. And this voltage I will write as its Laplace transform VCS. Okay, and then this capacitor has a capacitance of 0.1 and initial voltage was VC0 minus equal to 10 volt. Okay, what I will do, if you call this node A and node B, I will replace this capacitor between node A and B, here A and B, with an uncharged capacitor. Okay, so I will replace this with an uncharged capacitor, but I will put in series a voltage source. Okay, whose value is same as the initial voltage of the original capacitor. So that is 10 volt. Upside plus, downside minus, because also in the original circuit this was my reference polarity, upside plus, downside minus. And this is node A, node B. So between node A and B we originally had a charged capacitor that is replaced with an uncharged capacitor in series with a voltage source. So this is uncharged. Okay, now for an uncharged capacitor, you see this is the relation between voltage across it and current through it. So therefore you see here V1 is the voltage across the capacitor is equal to 1 by CS multiplied by ICS. So this constant acts as the impedance, if you think this is like a Ohm's law. So for uncharged capacitors, impedance is equal to 1 by CS. Now in this circuit I will put the impedance of this capacitor 1 by 0.1 S. Okay, and also I will replace these voltages with their Laplace transform. So I am drawing it again instead of erasing. So I will write here 20 by S and here 10 by S. That is the unilateral Laplace transform of 10. Now it is very easy to find VCS, this voltage. Okay, first let me find this current I. This current I is, that will be equal to this voltage 20 by S minus this voltage 10 by S. This minus this divided by the total impedance here 40 plus 1 by 0.1 S, that is 10 by S. So that is equal to 10 by S divided by 40S plus 10, 40S plus 10 divided by S. So this is equal to 1 over 4S plus 1. Okay, now we want this voltage VCS. Okay, so VCS, that is equal to the voltage across the uncharged capacitor, voltage of uncharged capacitor plus this 10 by S source voltage. Please understand that we want the voltage originally between A and B, which is here A and B. Okay, and this actual capacitor is replaced by this capacitor and the source. So the voltage voltage across actual capacitor will be same as the voltage across the uncharged capacitor plus this voltage. We do not want the voltage across the uncharged capacitor alone. Okay, so VCS is these two voltages together. Now voltage of this uncharged capacitor, this voltage, that will be equal to this current multiplied by this impedance, Is multiplied with 1 by 0.1s, because this is the relation between the voltage and current across an uncharged capacitor, which we wrote here. Okay, so this is the voltage of uncharged capacitor plus the source 10 by S. Now let me put the values. 1 by 4S plus 1, this is multiplied with 10 by S plus this 10 by S. Now I will do partial fraction. So I will write this as something divided by 4S plus 1 plus this something divided by S plus this 10 by S. You may put A, B here and find what should be the value of A and B, but this is an easy problem, so I will just think what can I put here to get 10 above. So if I put 4 here and minus 1 here, then I will get 4s goes, I will get minus 1, so I will multiply this with minus 10, and that will do the job. So I have plus 1 by S, then I have plus 10 by S, plus 10 by S, 20 by S, then minus 40 by 4S plus 1. This is same as 20 by S minus 10 by S plus 1 by 4. Now I can take Laplace inverse. VCT will be 20 ut minus 10 e to the power minus 1 by 40 ut. Okay, let me check my answer. So VC 0 plus, that seems to be 20 minus this will be 10, that is 10. Okay, that seems correct, because before the switch was opened, this voltage was 10 and capacitor voltage cannot change instantaneously, because for this voltage to change we need some current to flow here and some amount of charge to get stored in or out, but that will take some finite time. So initial voltage 10, correct, this is 10 volt, and VC at time infinity, that will be 20, because this will be 0 at time infinity. Now let me check here in the original circuit. Yeah, if you remove this, if you open this switch, then we have only a battery and a capacitor in series with the resistance. In steady state, the capacitor voltage will be equal to the battery voltage and then no current can flow. So in steady state, capacitor voltage will be same as the battery voltage, 20. So okay, my answer seems correct. Okay, great.